Hi, welcome to Behind the Bling. Today we are going to chat with Mr. Ashraf Motiwala, who is the Managing Director of AS Motiwala Fine Jewellery. Hi Ashraf, how are you?
Very well, Ronika.
Thank you so much for coming on this show.
A pleasure. Thank you for having me. This is, it's going to be fun. Looking forward to this.
Yes, absolutely, it's going to be fun. So, first things first, Ashraf, we would like to know a little bit about your personal journey. And AS Motiwala is also one of the oldest family in the jewelers in India. So, can you share the origin story of your brand?
Of course, I would love to. So I happen to be the fourth generation in my jewelry legacy. This was started by my great-grandfather back in the times when the British were ruling us, and my great-grandfather used to be one of the largest Basra pearl dealers, if I may.
Wow.
So
okay.
we have documents of him, a British passport dated 1905, showing him traveling in those days, of course, by ship to the Persian Gulf, and the purpose of his visit used to be for the purchase of pearls. Wow. Anytime he used to walk into a darbar, they would be announced, right? Like Motiwala aaya hai.
Right.
That's how the surname caught on, Motiwala.
All right.
And so he was one of the first Basra pearl dealers.
Okay.
After that, of course, when my grandfather was about 7 years of age, he passed away, his father, and my grandfather revived the business again, only and solely on the name that he had. Not my grandfather, my great-grandfather in the market. So people were so kind to my grandfather who had never met him but had worked with his father. So they started giving him parcels on credit, and my grandfather started to revive the business again. Then my father joined him, of course, at that point of time, and I think that was the turning stage, so to speak, for the Motiwalas. We actually came from of course dealing with royal families and princely states to losing that momentum and then building that momentum again. I think my father and his brothers were super instrumental in getting the Motiwala name to, the name we enjoy today. By God's grace, I'm here, the fourth generation.
That's amazing. That's actually an amazing journey, because we don't have as many jewelers in India who actually have this legacy of over 100 years.
Sure.
So now, being from such a prestigious jewelry family, what was your personal journey like? Like, did you always wanted to grow up to join your family business?
This is also quite an interesting part. So, of course, coming from a legacy of jewelers, and I had 5 bosses on top of me.
Right.
My first choice was, of course, not to join the business. And I felt there was no space for me in that era. However, my father kind of insisted, and you know how parents go, he insisted that, back in the day, we didn't have any studying about diamonds, right? Of course, in our times, we saw that. We saw GIA and we saw IGI come up with excellent education courses. So my father's only request to me was, before you decide what you want to do in your life, can you go and do this course for me? And I think that was my turning point in my thing, because I was pretty sure I don't want to get in this business. I was pretty sure that I will not be heard. But then the love for, something that comes out from the earth, something natural, something that is like a fingerprint. It's not identical with the next one. I think that kind of blew me away. I started seeing it a little differently. I said, okay, there is something that I think I can offer to this brand, and I think I should be the one taking this legacy forward.
So now, once you joined the business, obviously you come from a different generation than your father and your grandfather and your great-grandfather. So how have you modernized your business? Because it is a legacy jeweler, right? So what is the role you've played in making it a modern brand? Because today, AS Motiwala is seen as a modern jewelry brand.
Yes. To be precise, it took me 15 years to convince my father and his brothers that, there's a different way I would like to do this business. Right. And somewhere the Motiwala name and the legacy, and somewhere it was getting, I wouldn't use the word diluted, but there was a lot of competition coming around. Right. And there were jewelers who were doing, honestly, stuff better than us. So when we actually saw ourselves at the top, and then somewhere in our mind we still think we are the top, but we aren't. I think that's when I realized that something has to be done. Right. And then it took 15 years of convincing them. But then finally I could manage to get out of the joint family structure. There were a lot of terms and conditions put on me, which is fair. I don't blame anyone. It was tough love, if I may. But I think that was a turning point, because I had so many terms laid down that the only way to get ahead and get out was to reinvent everything. And as scary as that sounds, that was the most liberating thing for me, Ronika, because I've always wanted to offer jewelry in a better finish. Right. I've always wanted to offer the jewelry in a better ambiance. And somewhere in my mind, I wanted to kind of prove it to myself that, okay, you know, as I told you, I've worked 15 years under 5 bosses. I've done everything from assorting diamonds to having an everyday job of going by the train to Zaveri Bazaar and sit in those hot manufacturing units, which are 4 stories up, and you have to just climb. One stair is there, the other one is missing. And I've lived those. Those days. I have understood the product and the material. And as I told you, GI made me fall in love with the raw material. Now the passion that I feel should kind of show. Right. I've done my bit. I've paid my price, so to speak. And that's when I decided to branch out. And then everything was different. Yeah.
So basically, so now you've branched out and you've done everything differently. So what inspires you now to create the kind of jewelry that you create? Because everything that you see at your store is a collection, is inspired. It looks like there's a lot of thought and effort. So are you also very creatively involved in the designing process and the making and all of that?
So 100%, you know, it's the joint managing director is, I think, just a title that I get to enjoy. I would like to call myself the head of production and design. Right. There was a time, Lunika, and I'm sure you know because you're also in the industry since so long, and I think I know you for over a decade, if not more. I don't know if you remember, about 15 years ago or 12 years ago, there used to just be a dominance of round diamonds. Yeah. And if any fancy shapes came into play, people would be like, don't invest in fancy shape, it has no value, right? So that used to kind of dictate the design that used to be out. We in our old store used to only manufacture rounds and only do that. And that was such a restriction of creativity. So when we started AS Motiwala, we had certain, I felt, loopholes that were not addressed. One of them is making all unround diamond jewelry. Don't use round at all, but make it so desirable and so well priced and so well finished and so well crafted that a person who says that, Acha, theek hai, though there was value in it, but to break that Indian consumer's mindset, the person should have that thought process that even if it's not as much value as round, I still love the design. And also, yellow gold and white gold dominated the market. Right. There was nothing like rose gold. I identified that opportunity. And instead of opening the store with maybe 20% or 30% of unround diamonds and 70 playing safe with round and yellow and white, I did the opposite. I opened a store with 90% of unround diamonds.
That was brave.
Yeah, that was brave and stupid. As my father would say, when I showed him my final selection and he had a look at what I produced and he's saying, you know what you have done, right? I said, yeah. He's saying, tell me. So I was like, I've created an unround. Yeah, and a different color of gold that we don't know if Indians will like. Right. So you've doubled down on this risk. And it was a roaring success. I mean, when I opened the store, there was no one in the market doing what we are doing. So we kind of innovated a product. Desirability was created out of a product. Yeah. And most importantly, I started winning all these retail jeweler awards. So I won Best Diamond Jewelry of 2012, 2013, 2014, 2016.
Back to back.
Back to back. So I think that was proof that, you know, this whole thought process and going to the drawing board and changing everything around. And I think that weighed more on me, saying that, you know, I would love to create stuff that when I see people wear, I was like, wow. And that person has that much same connection. You're a lady, you know the connection with jewelry, right? I wanted that emotion back. And I have many stories to tell you of, you know, so many customers who have told me, oh, I don't need this, oh, I don't do that, you know, and that's what I want. And that's what I wanted, and by God's grace, that's what I got.
That is a very gratifying thing about your job, that what you've created, and if somebody you know, appreciates it and values it, and then I guess the word of mouth, and it keeps spreading, right? That okay, this is something that we like, and so basically then you were pretty much a disruptor in the industry.
In the most humble way, I would like to think so that yes, we thought differently, we had a different thought process. Even when you walk into AS Motiwala today, they will be treated as if I'm there with them. They say there's some method in madness, so to speak. So I think my method in my madness was I found the right clique of people who kind of believe and walk the company's ethos, and
And vision.
And vision, and take pride in it. Knowing that we are family jewelers. I mean, we have so many of these corporate jewelers who compete with us, and we don't have half, not even half, maybe not even a % of the budget of they have in marketing and all.
Right.
But what we have is our passion, what we have is our craftsmanship, and what we have is our legacy. You know, I see some products that my grandfather manufactured.
Right.
I mean, we have 3 generations of customers, 4 generations,
Right.
so we get to see some stuff. And I can understand how it's outlived the wearer. The person is gone, my grandfather's gone, but that piece of jewelry stands testament to quality and,
absolutely.
You know. So I would somewhere like to be remembered like that.
So how have you seen that in your career span, the definition of luxury, how has it changed? Has it gone from A to Z, or how has that evolved?
For me, luxury has to define certain purposes.
Right.
One is, of course, top quality. I would always see something that is of the highest quality gets the branding of luxury.
Right.
Scarcity. It should also not be that something that everyone can afford.
Right.
That's the most important part of luxury. I feel it's something that should be aspirational. And of course, when I talk about great craftsmanship, superior quality, luxury should also stand the test of time. It should have the same emotional connect in form of rarity, in form of the reason you bought it. No matter when. I mean, you could be enjoying a beautiful watch, but every time you wear it, it should give you that joy, right?
Absolutely.
I feel that's luxury. I think to be able to afford to tell our workers who work so diligently and who are actually the reason why we have a brand name, to tell them, you know what, take your time. Take your time. You can stretch those hours, but give me a product that once it comes in my hand, it never has to go back to you.
Right.
And it has to be that level because we stand by every product we send.
Right.
Yeah, so I think, yeah.
So, and with that conversation, naturally the conversation steers to you know what.
Yeah, for sure. And I could easily, I have no qualms,
Right.
against lab-grown diamonds. I just feel that you can't have something which is mass-produced.
Right.
And which is, we are seeing in the recent years that is going down drastically in form of price.
Absolutely.
You can't expect that to take a position of something like a natural diamond.
Or a luxury product.
Or a luxury product. That, like a natural diamond, has been there for, the
Right.
youngest diamond is 1 billion years old. I mean, luxury is
Absolutely.
time. Luxury is time. I mean that just goes to show that it's...
So you think it could be more like a fashion product?
100%.
Right.
So I'm all for tech. I come from a background that didn't evolve for nearly a generation and a half, and now our store is very agile. We keep thinking of what we can do more.
Right.
What product can we do to attract new consumers also, for that matter, right? Because it's a market share. We have millennials coming in and so on and so forth. But yeah, I don't see lab grown taking that spot. I see it as an aspiration for people who would like to own natural diamond jewelry, but maybe for whatever reason could not attain the luxury part of it. So you come in maybe at that level, but I promise you the same consumer will still want a natural diamond.
I agree with that.
Will still want, because the emotion it carries.
Absolutely.
And being 4 generations old, I can double down on that. Let's put it that way. I don't have my grandfather with me anymore, but I have his natural diamonds that he kept for his family. That at sometimes we just think that, wow, Dada thought of this, and it's not aged, and it's only appreciated in value, right? I would think of diamonds as always. Yeah, we have seen that happening for over 500 years, and we will see that happening, and we don't see a threat as that, as long as they're very differently classified. You know, it's very important to be. I don't want people cheating people in the process. That's my concern. That's my concern. Yeah.
Since you've done all of this and everything, and you've expanded your brand as well, right? So where all do you have your stores currently?
So thank you for this question. So AS Motiwala, of course, started. We have a flagship store that we started about 12 or 13 years back when as we had this conversation. We ran a study of our brand back in the day, and we got a reply back that yes, great quality, great this thing. They were comparing us to international brand names, which was fantastic.
Wow.
But somewhere there was a perception that, you know what, these are serious diamond jewelers. You only walk into this store if you're getting married or you have some big occasion. Otherwise, no. Which was, of course, built intentionally, but somewhere there was a thing missing that, you know what, I I want this philosophy, I want this craftsmanship, I want this design to reach everyone.
Right.
On that note, we started a whole new brand called Faith.
Absolutely.
You know, and people trust us with that. They trust us with their money, and they trust us with their wealth. So we want to give them something nice. I want that same thing translated to 50,000 rupees, 15,000 rupees, 100,000 rupees. So Faith was born as a brand that kind of just comes out of exactly the philosophy of AS Motiwala, but not the heaviness of it.
Yeah.
And Faith for us was our way of going out in the world.
Right.
Saying that, you know, our flagship store is here,
Yeah.
you're all welcome here, but you're welcome to see Faith. And Faith grew very well for us. That was very well accepted. I'm telling you, it's still a young brand. It grew we launched it in 2018. And we are now in 2020, I mean, end of 2024. And we have Faith in 14 other centers besides us.
Wow.
So, I mean, that's great
That's
proof.
amazing.
Yeah, yeah. And luckily for us, again, as I mean, God's been kind, these 14 centers are all in Taj Hotels.
Okay.
So we kind of connected a
Right.
luxury legacy hotel chain
Absolutely.
with a luxury legacy hotel brand, and we
Jewelry
kind of
brand.
synergize. And so the placement of staying in Taj Hotels where people are traveling and this and that,
Right.
and placing Faith in those hotels were like a perfect marriage,
Right.
if I may. And so we started with 2 or 3 stores, and I mean, we are 14 stores strong. So we have
Wow.
15 altogether. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, thank
and
you.
you also have your store in the iconic Falaknuma Palace.
Yes, I do. Yeah,
And
yeah.
we've all seen how you launched the store and how it's like this big news.
Yeah.
And recently, I think you've launched a collection called
Yes,
Amara.
yes,
so tell us
yes.
something about a little bit about that.
So you know, Lunika, we've always been fine jewelry, right? We
Right.
opened the store as AS Motiwala Fine Jewelry, not jewelers, because we
Right.
wanted to send out a message. We wanted to create a collection that puts us in the high jewelry category. I'm very inspired by all these international brands. You know, I'm very inspired by Harry Winston and Graf, and you know, their high jewelry collection. So we decided now it's time to embark on this.
Right.
We came out with this stunning collection that comprises of 100% rose-cut diamonds, among other gemstones like emeralds and rubies. And when I use the other gemstones, we are using all Colombian, Zambian, and basically rare pieces. And more than rose cuts, we have managed to associate ourselves with a cutter, who's a master craftsman. So his rose cuts are the most sought out. His rose cuts are the most sought out with houses like Cartier, Harry Winston, Bulgari. We managed to associate with him, and we managed to tell him that we want a consistent, strong, excellent make of rose cut, because we are specifically doing a high jewelry collection. We created this beautiful product that I think we kind of revived centuries old art, but use engineering now to make it look like it's never looked before. That's the reason why we said, and of course we have a store at the Falaknuma. That's the reason why we thought that, you know what, the launch of this product should be at the Falaknuma Palace, because it kind of signifies the whole nizam and the whole.
Right.
So we went all out. In fact, the name Amara that we kept, it stands for the eternal love. It also is close to my heart because it has A and M, which is of course my initials, and it's my little hidden signature.
So now, because you are a heritage jeweler and you have also created this brand of Faith, which is also for the young generation and the millennials.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of people that you have to cater to, right? You have to cater to the millennials,
Yeah.
the Gen Zs,
Yeah.
and so
Yeah.
on and so
Yeah.
forth. And these days with everybody, affirmations is a big thing.
It's a big thing, yeah.
Right? Everybody is looking for soul searching. Everybody is into their own process of healing. And affirmations has become a big thing in the past couple of years.
Yeah.
And you've actually gone ahead and created a whole line of jewelry.
Yes.
That's affirmation jewelry.
Yes.
So how did you get that idea? That how do you convert something that has a different kind of significance and translate it into a piece of jewelry?
During the lockdown time, I mean, all of us went through quite a lot. I mean, I don't know I mean, it was such an equalizer, right? That you could be at the highest level or the lowest level or whatever, but it affected everyone in some way or the other. Some people more than others. In those days, just sitting, thinking about these things, thinking about how grateful we have to be alive. We have so many friends who lost their family and this and that. Somewhere the need in me came out that, you know what, faith should have something like an affirmation exercise. It should have something that either makes the wearer feel more confident, or it should have something that when the wearer feels, it becomes a constant reminder. So it should work both ways.
Right.
I had a dear friend of mine, Lou Coutinho, who's he's a famous nutritionist, and so I was having this conversation with him. I said, don't you think the power of words are big and this and that? And he was the one who encouraged me. He said, you know what, Ashraf, you should go for it. It's a great idea you have, and I will extend my support to you as well if you like it, because I like where you're going with this. I like the fact that, you know, like I'm wearing my faith bracelet right now, right?
Right. You have your beliefs right with you.
Right with you. So
it's like having God with you.
So yeah, so
right?
that's how our collection is named. It's called Faith in You. We have these beautiful words like believe, happiness, gratitude, faith, hope, love, which we have very well done on, of course, gold with nice diamonds. They're all IGI certified. Plus, we've got all these bands, you know, so we have these rubber bands. So watches like Audemars Piguet and Hublot and all, they have these rubber straps.
Yeah,
so we've imported, so we've imported these straps from Italy. So we have one specifically for ladies, because my customers, 99 on 100 are ladies. So I always think designing a ladies bracelet first. So the ladies launch way back in 2021, I believe. And the gents came about maybe a year later. So we are not trying to play God here. I mean, God is God. This is just a polite reminder to have faith in yourself.
It's inspiring that you've actually thought of this and, you know, translated it into something
in jewelry,
so beautiful.
in jewelry,
Absolutely.
in something that you enjoy wearing.
Right.
And I mean, for a jeweler like me, it's the first time that I'm sending a message out. Right? That have faith in yourself.
Right.
We as jewelers don't need to do that.
Right.
Right?
Nobody has a brand philosophy at all.
No, but at that time, I think it was so needed at that point of time.
Right.
We never look at our business as how can I make more profit?
Right.
It's always, how can I add more value?
Right.
Or how can I make a difference? And then, of course, I think profits are the byproduct of your intentions. So yeah, I'm not saying it's not important, but I'm saying it probably comes third on the list.
Okay, so since now you have your brand all across India and in a lot of cities and in a lot of, you know, Taj hotels, what are your plans for expansion? Do you also see your brand internationally, globally, going out and faith being all across the world?
Yes. I honestly think I was within faith and within AS Motiwala, we always had this question that if we want to go beyond India, should we? And if we should, what should we represent?
Right.
I think Amara is the answer to that question.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
that's going to be
Yeah.
amazing. So
Yeah.
you're going to be like the designer from India. Who
Hopefully, yeah. I mean, yeah. We are looking for that position. We are very proud of everything that we have achieved in India. Right. I mean, needless to say, I don't need to say facts, but this is the country where jewelry has been a craft since centuries, right? So it's very necessary. The jewelry that comes out of this country should also represent something. Now, I know a lot of Indian jewelers have taken their jewelry abroad and they represent India very well. I would like to be the Indian jeweler who has international aesthetics.
Right. Because very few Indian jewelry brands have actually gone there and made a big name as an Indian jewelry.
Exactly. And the reason being is because they were typically catering to the Indian audience somewhere, and that Indian design philosophy was there. With Amara, we have broken those barriers once. Yeah.
Great. Yeah. I'm wishing you all the luck for that to happen.
Thank you.
And looking forward to having Amara as this global brand coming from India.
Thank you.
And
Thank
the
you so
house
much.
of AS Motiwala.
Thank you. Thank
now,
you.
since you're in Bandra, right? Your flagship store is in Bandra. You have a lot of celebrity clients who come to you.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think that's.
You want to name a few?
So you know, I would love to name a few, but you know, our brand has always been about privacy.
Right.
We even on our social handles, and of course we've had some celebrity clients endorse us and give us in writing. So of course that we can proudly show. But besides that, we do not ask any celebrity for any photograph. There are clear instructions in my store as well, because we also have certain royal families who visit us. We have protocols at times when they visit us. I mean, there's a whole team that comes to do the recce of the place and so on and so forth. And the only reason they're coming to us is because they have the trust and faith that, you know what we disclose behind closed doors will stay behind closed doors. But yeah, I mean, that's one aspect of the business. But what I personally find fascinating, and I've always found fascinating, and also one of the reasons I joined my profession, is that I think there are very few professions in the world today that you get to interact with these kind of people.
Right.
You have to understand, of course, we are jewelers, but we kind of turn like, you know how family doctors are, right? A family jeweler turns into that because there's a celebrity and he's the who's who of Bollywood, right? But when he wants to gift his wife, he comes and tells me, Ashraf, I want to design something.
Right.
I want to do something. Let's do this. Let's turn that. So you know, the relation that I forge with people who walk in as customers, but turn out to be friends. And then when I see their trust, faith, and love in the brand, of course, and me internally, I think that's so enriching. Right? No profession, or very few, could give you this kind of connection with crown princesses, with that kind of stuff.
Right.
So I think it's magical.
Since you've not named anything, I think what happens at AS Motiwala
stays at AS Motiwala. Yeah. That could probably be a punchline. Could probably be a punchline. Yeah.
And I think you are anyway the biggest celebrity of the brand.
Oh, is it? Oh, that's
absolutely.
that's super kind. That's super kind. But yeah, God's been kind. Thank you.
Okay, so I think this whole chat has been amazing. And now we're going to dive into our rapid fire round. It's called Quick Bling Buzz. I'm going to ask you quick questions and you'll have to give me like quick answers.
Okay.
Okay, so we can start?
Sure.
Okay. So what's the most extravagant piece of jewelry you've ever created?
A walking stick for His Excellency King Abdullah of Saudi Arabia.
Wow.
It was made of diamonds and rubies and lapis lazuli. Yeah, and we are one of the ones to have that stick made.
Wow. And it's made out of gold?
Pure gold.
Amazing.
And certified.
Amazing. So diamonds, pearls, or emeralds?
Diamonds for sure.
Okay.
Nothing beats the magic, the brilliance. But of course, always a soft corner for emeralds and 100% pearls. Because that's where that's where we come from. Yeah.
Right. Your favorite piece of jewelry from history?
I would say the peacock brooch by Harry Winston.
Right.
I think that is a perfect example of natural diamonds.
What's the fun fact about your life that would surprise people?
I think being in this glamorous industry, if I may, and having access to everything beautiful and shiny and sparkly and luxury, I think I'm just a very simple guy at heart.
Yeah.
I love just being on a beach or being in a shack or being up in the mountains. And of lately, I've been enjoying solitude as well. So I've been loving that. Yeah. So I think that is something that not many people know about me. They always see. Of course, we meet socially, so they see a certain side. But I'm quite introverted at times if I want to. Yeah.
Okay. If not a jeweler, what would you have been?
A lawyer.
Wow, that's a stark difference.
So as I'm saying, I've grown up with influences. One influence was, of course, my grandfather and his legacy and his ethics and his friends that he had. And the other side was my uncle, my mama, who was the Solicitor General of India.
Wow.
Who was top of his game in law and this and that. So I was very inspired by that. So if not a jeweler, I would say a lawyer for sure.
Okay. Describe Falaknuma Palace in one word.
It's a time capsule.
Wow.
Right from the moment you walk in and they give you the adab to the time a horse carriage comes to take you, and then you're going through the horse carriage and this cobble streets and you have peacocks, over 100 peacocks all around. And when you reach the reception, roses and rose water is thrown on you. I think it's a time capsule. I think it has just I think time has just stood still there.
Or you've gone back in time.
Yeah, and I feel that every time. I love going to that location of ours. I love going to that location of ours. For that reason, I think you're just transported. And that's why Amara, there wouldn't be a better place.
Better place to launch it.
Yeah.
Okay. What's the most unconventional material you've used in your jewelry designs?
Yeah, you're looking at it, rubber. I never in all these years, I don't think my father or my grandfather would have thought that jeweler will get into rubber manufacturing. But I would say rubber for now. And as I'm saying, we're agile. So we have tried carbon fiber, we have tried ceramic, and I enjoy working with every material. As long as I can ensure its longevity, I'm happy to work with it.
Amazing. If AS Motiwala Jewels were a person, what personality trait would it define?
I would say Amitabh Bachchan. Dynamic. Has
Bachchan is enough.
Bachchan, that the word is enough. that thing is enough. I would love to have that kind of credibility.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. What's one jewelry trend you think that should make a comeback?
Rose cuts. Honestly, and I think honestly with Amara, we have made a comeback.
What's harder, satisfying a client or creating a one-of-a-kind masterpiece?
Nice question. I would say creating one-of-a-kind masterpiece. There's a lot of effort that goes into all this stuff. I think convincing a customer is not the tough part. Convincing myself and making a great product is where it all it is.
If AS Motiwala Jewels were a movie, what genre would it be?
I don't know, like a Braveheart, if I may. I know it's kind of a weird choice of movie. It's a lot of blood and all, but it's basically it's about love. It's about it's about passion. It's about passion. So I would choose Braveheart. Yeah.
Amazing. What's your mantra for keeping your creativity alive?
I'm truly inspired by nature. I get. I think I basically get more than I give every time I'm in nature. I've always noticed that when I'm like, we can go to all these bustling cities in the world and have a great time and, eat in the best restaurants and enjoy that side of life, versus me just going to a place like Goa and sitting on the beach and getting my feet in the sand. I think that's where creativity starts for me. That's when I'm actually free, and that's when I start dreaming. Otherwise, I'm just robotic. I'm just trying to oil the machine that keeps us keeps us going.
Right. Who is your most favorite Bollywood celebrity?
Shah Rukh Khan, without a doubt. I'm a big fan.
You're on Shah Rukh fan.
Yeah.
What is your favorite way to unwind after a long day?
For me, it's a mix of things. I love spending time with my kids. They're growing up. I have two boys. They're growing up, and needless to say, I think they need their father. One is 16, the other is 12. So I think now they need their father more to guide them in their whole dating game and so on and so forth. So I kind of feel like I'm reliving my childhood. So I think spending time with my kids kind of gives me some downtime. I also love driving. I'm very fond of cars.
Are you a different kind of father than your own father? Are you different with your kids than your dad was with you?
I would think so. My father has only practiced tough love with me. Only practiced tough love with me. I would think I'm much softer as a father. I become one of them, which I never saw in my father. I mean, we've come from that generation, right? We don't blame them, but we do understand they were strict. They were the trad dads, if I may. I'm softer. I would say I'm softer. I hope I'm not taken advantage of, but I'm softer.
Okay, that's great. Last question. What is the first thing you notice about a woman when you see her?
Her jewelry. And I'm not saying this just... Nonika, I swear I'm not saying this. I'm being as candid as I can. Of course, if a woman, of course, her beauty. If I have to say that, of course, her beauty. But if she's wearing something stunning that catches my eye, the beauty is superficial. Honestly, I love looking at a woman.
We trust you.
Trust me, because so for me, I truly believe that a girl, if she's wearing jewelry and she can really wear it well, oof. I mean, that floats my boat. That floats my boat.
I think you've done exceptionally well on the rapid fire as well.
Thank you.
So now you're going to get the hamper.
Oh, wow. Oh, because I've done well. Huh? Oh, so I didn't have to. It's not like Karan Johar that you have to. Oh, thank you. I'm glad there's no competition.
Yes.
At least here. Thank you.
So this is for you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Wow, this looks amazing.
Awesome. I'm going to keep
it here for you. Yes. Thanks. Thank you so much.
And thank you so much for coming on the show.
A pleasure.
And all the best to your brand. All the best to your brand journey, to your global expansion. And it was really, really a great honor to have you on the show.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for coming. And if you would like to give us a quick bite about what do you think of the show,
Sure.
how do you think of this new format, and what it could do for the industry, that would be amazing.
My pleasure. So firstly, Lonika and team, thank you for having me here. I think this was so much fun. This was different from another day at work. I think this is a fantastic initiative, getting all of us in the industry to talk besides our business and besides our day-to-day, our dreams, our aspirations. Very few people give us that celebrity status that we're enjoying on this thing. So thank you very much for this. And I wish you all good luck. I think this is the start of something fantastic. And hopefully this will get all of us in the industry together and collectively, I mean, the gem and jewelry industry is beautiful. I'm 4 generations in it, so I can vouch for it. So thank you for doing these things where you get us to take some time out and talk about our dreams and aspirations. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much.